Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Let's Build It Together, brought to you by Prometheus General Contractors. Don't forget the free pod pack that I have been talking about is available at www.kcprogc.com. Um, that's who's brought this video to you today. I appreciate PGC giving me the time to do this and record these and hopefully help some folks out. Without further ado, we are going to dig into the next step after you've called your bidders and you've held your bid meeting, actually receiving the bids and going over them. So with that, we will get started into this. I have put this into my commercial estimate. It's just a blank thing that a blank estimate that I use for commercial work. Yours likely will not look like this, but it gives you an idea of some of the scopes and kind of how we as contractors break things down. Most of the time you will get not as broken down as this. You'll get a cost, but you need to make sure that your project scope agreement, your PSA, your scope of work, or your description of work or whatever, that is where the money is, for lack of a better term. You know, it'll tell you what is included, what isn't. You'll notice on here a few of these are yellow, and with those yellow ones, we'll dig into that a little bit after with comparing contractor A to B, A to C, and B to C. So here, just breaking it down, you've got your material cost, you've got your labor cost. So for demolition, if Prometheus is bidding this, and in this situation, I'm going to be contractor A. Again, I don't have a good way to describe this without just kind of giving you real numbers and something to look at. We're at 1,500 for demo. That includes my consumables, the blades, the pry bars, the broken this, that, or the other that we'll use to actually demolish your. In this case, we're discussing a bathroom. That's just kind of a rental, third-party rental agreement / consumable cost. The next thing we have is rough carpentry. You're at $1,000, $250 for material, $750 for labor. And what that is when I come in and I demo out the tile and all of your waterproofing from your shower, the odds of your shower being perfectly plumb, which means level up and down, perfectly square, meaning they make a 90-degree angle or 135 or a whatever angle there. The odds of that are slim to zero, leaning very close to never. So what we do is once that's done, we go in there and we rebrace. We may frame out a niche or a niche, depends on where you're at as to how you say it. We may plane down some studs so that everything is flat, so that when we put the new waterproofing back up, we have a flat wall that makes a 90-degree corner, so that all of your tile cuts are the exact same from the very bottom course to the very top course. That's your rough carpentry. Just essentially it's framing. It may be into some subfloor. In this scenario, we didn't have subfloor figured in there. It just kind of, we don't need to add any more mud to the water. Next, we have glass, your glass door or your divider wall. If it's a zero entry, a lot of places are going to like a divider wall right next to the shower head that keeps the water from splashing out onto the floor, but you walk around and you get in your shower. That one is something that a lot of places will exclude. It's something that a lot of places include. It's something that most places, if they include, they source out to subcontractors. So that's what the equipment and subcontracts are. Next thing is wall and ceilings. When I get into your shower, I'm going to take my multi-tool. I'm going to buzz right along the saw. I'm going to cut your drywall, and it's going to be a relatively clean line, but it's a line that will need fixed nonetheless. It's just the nature of demolition. It's if I pull something out, I've got to replace it and make it look like it's always been there. That's the goal at the end of the day. You don't want anyone knowing you just did this brand new bathroom because they didn't include drywall or they didn't paint or what have you. I mean, there are a bunch of examples of what could go wrong. The next item, you didn't want VCT flooring, you wanted to keep your existing flooring, and there's no charge there. We ripped out the tub, put a new tub in, it's the exact same footprint, no flooring, maybe a little bit of silicone, but that wouldn't necessarily be in the flooring part of this for me, how I lay my estimates out. You do have tile though. In this example, my estimate's set up so that I don't bid it on myself. When I estimate it, it goes into a subcontract column. Disregard where the number is at. Just know that my tile cost is $87.50 in this fictional bathroom. That includes the tile and the setting materials only. I mean, it includes the waterproofing, for instance, a Schluter system and the setting material, but it's nothing outside of that. Paint and wall coverings. That may be that you needed a new 1 foot section of wallpaper, or we needed to repaint something because we got thin set and peeled it off and it peeled your paint, or you needed drywall and we have to replace the drywall and paint back up to the tile so that it looks like it's been there since they built the house. That's something that a lot of tile specific guys will not cover. They are there to do tile and that's it. They don't do plumbing. They don't do electrical. They don't do anything except set tile and grout and leave. So that's why I've got it yellowed. But paint and wall covering, I hate painting, but I offer it as a service because I don't want somebody coming in there and slopping paint all over my brand new shower that after tax you're paying dang near 10 grand for. Another thing is fixtures. If I'm doing your bathroom floor and I have to pull the toilet and remove a vanity or move stuff or whatever, then that's what that cost would be. You know, and a lot of guys, they figure daily rates. That's just a common way of bidding projects nowadays. It's not right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just, you know, it used to all be an hourly thing. Now it's pretty well a daily rate, because if I come to your house and I plan on working a full day, but you ordered the tile, you didn't order enough, and I can only work a half a day, I'm still charging you a full day for my crew. We kind of discussed that a little bit about letting contractors purchase the materials for the project. That way, if something screws up, it's on me as a contractor, not on you as a homeowner. Plumbing is one that, again, it's kind of like paint or drywall. A lot of guys just don't offer it. It's not in their wheelhouse. They don't carry the insurance for it, or they don't want to do it, or they don't know how to do it. Same with electrical. And you'll notice I've got a lot of stuff hidden here. Again, this is a commercial estimate, not a residential estimate, but it explains everything out a lot easier for you to follow. The numbers now we're looking at, combined material cost, excluding the tile, because that's in the subcontractor, is $850, $2,750 for labor, and $13,200 for materials. Some places, if you go to that big flashy place on Facebook that says they can do your shower in 3 days, and it's this beautiful Pinterest picturesque, you've been dreaming of it project, they have a quality control guy or a superintendent or somebody that'll cost $1,000 a week, and they may only be there a couple times. Say your project is 2 weeks, they're going to give you $2,000 for 2 weeks. So in the next example, I've excluded the $2,000 for the quality control guy. So you're at $18,800 with that guy. But assuming that you don't have him there, you're at a $16,800 bathroom. That's pretty middle of the road common cost. If you have followed the advice of the last episode, you have more than one estimate. You have more than one contractor. You have more than one bid. So assuming that is true, we're going to kind of do some jumping back and forth here. And let me hide this before you all take a peek. I should have hidden that earlier. Assuming that I am contractor A with demo, I'm at 1,500. The next guy's 14, 1,700. Framing, you can see these numbers here. With the glass door, contractor C didn't include glass. There's a lot of people that don't include glass. It depends on where I'm at as to whether I do. I like my glass guys, but a lot of times if I'm setting a glass tile, I exclude that. My warranty only covers what I've done up to that point, because glass tile breaks really, really easy when you start sucking a screw into the wall with that metal brace back there to hold the glass up. It's very fragile. Um, Drywall, neither of the other two companies included drywall, so they're at a zero cost for that. The ceramic tile, I was at 8,750, contractor B's at 9,500, contractor C's at $14,000. Now you get looking at theirs because that one stands out, 8,750 to 9,500, $750 for a full bathroom worth of tile. That's not that much. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it doesn't stand out like, oh my gosh, that's a big difference, whereas 8,750 to 14,000 that's a lot of money. You're at 5,250 for cash difference there. So you start reading into contractor C and you notice in their exclusions, they don't buy tile for that price. That is just them getting the waterproofing system and them setting the tile. And that includes the spacers and whatnot, but that does not include your maybe $10 a square foot tile that you need, I don't know, 75 square feet on the floor. And, you need 90 square feet in the shower and the floor there. So, I mean, you can add a lot of money in there for tile, and that's on the short end. A lot of the mosaics and the cool looking tile, they're 15 to 25 bucks a foot. So that one stands out. You need to beware of anything that looks odd. You need to read. You should read all of them. I realize not everybody will, but you can't say that I didn't warn you. Down into paint, contractor A was the only one. The other two did not offer that. We all offered fixture moves. We know that the toilet has to come up to get tile under it. We know that we may have to move the vanity or remove the vanity and replace it once everything's done. In this quote, it looks like contractor A and B were pretty square. Contractor C maybe has refastening the vanity at a higher level or replacing some cove base or something. It's again, these two don't raise any eyebrows because they're the same. This one raises an eyebrow again. For plumbing, contractors A and B both had plumbing. You can see contractor B is a little bit higher, but it's not by a whole lot. When you're thinking of almost $17,000, $300, it just isn't that drastic. Contractor C didn't have that. For electrical, contractor A, we put in 250 for my bid. Contractor B excludes all lighting and electrical. And contractor C put in 150. That's mostly cover your butt number in case they break a fixture or something. But so when you tally all these up, I will unhide now. Your every cost is $16,800. So if you only look at the bottom line, all three bids are the exact same. That's great. But then when you start reading contractor A, the bid I submitted, and again, I'm not always the high guy in this, but I'm making the video, so I get to be the good guy in this scenario. He's got everything. He doesn't exclude anything in the scope of work. You do not owe any more money. You do not have to find any more subs than what is labeled on there. I'm your guy. You write, you call, I mean, you have a problem, you call me, you write one check to me, and I'll write the 7 checks to the subs. Contractor B is 16,800 as well. However, he excluded drywall, paint, and electrical. That puts you at a deficit of $1,350, assuming you're using contractors A pricing. So what that does, or what that means, is that you're going to have to find a drywall guy that can get in there and paint. And then you're going to have to find an electrical guy if there's any electrical scopes of work, installing a new exhaust fan or a light over the shower or what have you, replacing a vanity light. So you're in for $1,350 right there, even though these numbers are all the same. Excuse me. For contractor C, now remember, he had the $14,000 in tile, and you read down that he didn't have any materials. So for contractor C, he excludes drywall, the cost of tile material, which could be anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000, just depends. I mean, for an $8,700 bid, it's not $5,000 a tile. I'll guarantee you that's relatively cheap tile. But the point being, he excludes it. He doesn't have paint and he doesn't have plumbing. So in order to get your shower functioning, you absolutely are in for the cost of the tile and the cost of the plumbing. Assuming you're using contractor A plumbing, that was $1,200. So then the drywall and paint are the other 1,100. Then you have the cost of the tile. So even though we're all at $16,800 for the same exact bathroom, you're not getting the same quality. You're not getting the same scopes of work encompassed. Now, when you get your scope of work, and if your contractor doesn't provide a scope of work, I would absolutely ask it. You need to make sure that you can compare apples to apples. If you just looked at this bottom line, everybody's going, hey, we're at 16,800, 16,800, 16,800. Great. Well, I'm going to go with who I liked the best. Well, you might have liked contractor C the best. He might have been a great salesman and he talked your ear off. And he also has a kitty named Socks and a dog named Rufus. And they look so close to yours. And he also has 2 kids that are the same ages as your kids. But at the end of the day, contractor C is really going to screw you. That guy right here is not, he is out there to make money and to screw you because he is assuming that you are ignorant. And if you just look at the bottom line, he's correct. I don't mean it rudely. I just mean it very plainly. So you've got to look at all of your bids and make sure that everything is apples to apples. Again, if they don't give a scope of work, that's a red flag for me. That means that if there's a problem down the line, they're going to tell you that they may have a change order for something they actually included, but they just figured wrong. If it's not clearly described in the scope of work, the project scope agreement, then it's either excluded or you have no idea. And if you don't have any idea, that means you're probably going to be taken advantage of. I'm a huge proponent. Once I started using the PSA, I realized after the first one, I will never go back. My business coach turned me onto it, and it provides a lot of meat. It's my pricing. Here's what I'm going to give you for my pricing. I'm going to give you $16,800, but I'm also going to describe to you what materials I'm using. I'm using Schluter, the whole Schluter system. It includes a lifetime warranty. Here's the thin set I'm going to be using. Here's the banding I'm going to be using. Here's the drywall mud. Here's the paint, the color, the type. Here is the plumber I'm going to be using. Here are his common means, assuming that it's PEX, or assuming that you have to sweat copper, or assuming that it's a total replacement. Here's the type of valve that I supply him to use. Here's how to turn the shutoffs on the valve on and to adjust the hot water or cold water. You know, the joke is women like hot showers. In my house, I like hotter showers than my wife does, but I'm going to crank that thing all the way up to scalding my butt just in the shower. That way my daughter's shower, she can't burn herself, but I could boil myself like a lobster. You know, all of that information should be in this project scope agreement, as well as should contractor B going, hey, I don't do drywall, paint, or electrical. That's excluded. You're going to need to find other subs to do that. Contractor C, if he's pulling the wool over your eyes like this, he's probably going to give you a bid that's broken out. Here's tile, here's this, here's that, into 2 or 3 different areas, so that everything looks the same. And he's probably not going to tell you he has 14,000 in tile. He's probably going to tell you he has 10,000 in tile, and he's going to divvy that 14 grand up elsewhere. It's a common occurrence when I was estimating commercially. If I had a number that just looked totally insane, then you look for the low numbers and you add 250 here, 500 there, 250 here, and you can make everything look pretty normal. Nothing raises an eyebrow. Whereas that 14,000 for tile, that's pretty much all he's supplying is just setting tile. I mean, that's insanity. And so if you're not looking at the scope agreements and the scopes of work included, you're going to get screwed. All 3 of these prices are the same, but all 3 of the qualities, all 3 of the scopes are very, very different. If you went with contractor C because of his kitty named Boots or Socks or whatever the cat's name was, you're going to be on your butt. He has demo and he has tile. He doesn't have any plumbing. He's going to use your nasty old plumbing, or when he decides inevitably that your plumbing is outdated, he's going to tell you, hey, when is the plumber going to get here? And you're going to get caught with your pants down going, what? I thought you did that. Your bid was $17,000 and you don't have plumbing. No, I excluded that. Did you see it on my quote anywhere? I didn't say anything about drywall or plumbing or paint. I don't have that. It's not in my quote. And then at that point, you are in the shoes where many homeowners have been going, I'm just getting royally screwed right now. And that is the opposite of what I want. That should be the opposite of what most contractors want. But if you're not reading the fine print, if you're not taking your project apart, if you don't know, you're not educated on what materials you would like to be used and how you want it to go. Again, you don't need to know how to set tile. You don't need to know how to install a Schluter assembly. You don't need to know how to install Weedy or, use dry pack mud or any of that. You just have to have a general idea of what you want. And that all comes down to researching. When you have that first idea of, I think I want to do a shower, and you bring it up to your spouse or your significant other, and they go, I've been thinking about that too. At that point, you need to hop online. And I'm not saying everybody online is right. I won't say that because most things are inherently wrong. But Google is a great place to start so that you know what goes into a project. You're going to research on Pinterest what tile you want, what style you want, if you want a lit niche, or if you want just a regular niche, or if you want shelves instead of a niche, or if you want a shaving shelf for ladies to shave legs on, 12 or 14 inches up off the floor. Those are things you're going to find in Pinterest. So why wouldn't you research how to waterproof it so that your house doesn't start molding and rotting and literally falling apart? It's important. You research cars. What offers do you want? Who has the best rate? Who has the best insurance? The best warranty? You need to do that with your project and with your contractors. You don't just say, I'm going to make grandma's chicken noodle soup and throw chicken and noodles in a bowl. You look at a recipe. You need to have a general idea, a 10,000 foot view, if you will, of what's going into your project. And if you don't, then you're running the risk of getting really screwed and not understanding why and getting taken advantage of. And typically that contractor C that's just royally screwing you over, raking you over the coals, you're probably getting a taillight warranty because he knows he did a really shitty job. Not always, but in my experience with contracting subs, that's how it happens most of the time. With that, again, go ahead and download your free pod pack, www.kcprogc.com. And that'll get you up to the point of the bid meeting. That we're now into some other stuff that I'm going to be offering very shortly. But get your goals in order, get your vision in order, get your budget in order, figure out with the free pod pack, you can get an estimate together, or at least an idea of an estimate of what you think things will cost. And then you can take that to a guy that you're bidding with and going, well, here's what we think. And if you did that for me, that makes my life so much easier. Well, you're really high on this and you actually don't even need that. So we're at a surplus of $2,500 right there, but you're really, really low for setting tile. You figured $6 a foot to set tile. That's actually what it costs to set vinyl laminate on a floor, not a shower wall. So you need to bump that price up, but at least that tells me that you have an idea of your budget and that you're not just yanking my chain, kicking tires and window shopping. You're going to waste my time. You're going to piss me off, and I'm going to be hard pressed to answer the phone the next time you call when you've already wasted my time. That about sums it up for this meeting. But again, the point of this is read the fine print and double check your estimates. You've got to know what's included, and what isn't included is oftentimes more important. But with that, this video, again, it's brought to you by Prometheus General Contractors. I thank them for giving me the time to do this and the knowledge. Many mistakes I've made are on someone else's bill, and I'm trying to help you avoid some contractor making mistakes on your bill. So with that, feel free to shoot me an email or visit the website and get your free pod pack. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time on Let's Build It Together.